Hello friends, welcome to the Keto Fast. I'm Michael Patton and I am excited that you're joining me on my journey to lose weight. I've lost 100 pounds so far, I've got 100 pounds to go. I'm right in the middle of a 40-day fast. You can keep up with me on my 40-day fast by going to see Michael Patton at Instagram. I do give daily updates there. I do give weigh-ins here and updates here as well to tell you how things are going and how I feel. But right now, I'm just going to talk to you about something else, and it is called set weight. Understanding set weight. You guys probably have seen in the news some. I'm not sure it's been there recently that much, but in the last few years in the news, the contestants of The Biggest Loser, a show that used to come on that would bring on contestants who had a body mass index of 40 or above that needed to lose 100 or 200 pounds. And throughout the season, they would go through all these trials and tribulations in order to lose weight. And most every one of them would lose an enormous amount of weight, sometimes up to 200 pounds, and it was just amazing to watch the transformation. It's very exciting as well. Well, there's been a lot of studies that have been done recently because we started noticing that every one of these people on The Biggest Loser was gaining their weight back. Not only just some of it back, but in a lot of cases, all of it back. And there was a Harvard study done on this. It was so extraordinary. There was a Harvard study done, a Harvard medical study done on this recently that tried to figure out why at least 14 of the contestants, what happened to 14 of them. And from the studies, there's been a lot of things that have come out of it. One of the things is they just weren't doing things right. Obviously, something went wrong somewhere in order for them to gain their weight back. And so I think it has to do with this set weight. And when we talk about the set weight, let me bring up my iPad here and my little guy that is skinny and doesn't need to lose any weight, but he is there and he is going to demonstrate set weight for us. Now, what our set weight is basically this. It is the weight that your brain is telling your stomach you need to stay at. Your brain is telling your stomach you got to be at a certain weight at all times, and then your stomach will distribute accordingly. The whole idea that we used to have of calories in, calories out is gone. You've heard the statement, just eat fewer calories than you are expending each day, and then you will lose weight. Well, we're finding out that's not really true. Your body is much more complex than that. It's not just about the calories. It's about the type of calories. It's about when you eat the calories. It's about a whole host of other things. Now, you know people just like I do who can just eat and eat and eat, and they never gain a pound. And you envy them, and you can't believe it. I've watched people. I've watched my wife. My wife is just like that. She is just skinny. She weighs about 110 pounds, and she always weighs 110 pounds, no matter how much fast food she eats or whatever she does. And I'm like, I eat less than her. How can I weigh more than her? How can I weigh so much more than her? And we're starting to find out that this is just common. This is the way that it is. People have set weights that their body is telling, or their brain is telling their body to stay at. And so no matter what the amount of calories you eat stays at, it will eventually get back to the set weight, what your brain is saying to your body. And there's many factors, so much complexity that comes down to for reasoning for this, and I'm going to try to distill it the best I can, okay, about weight loss. The basic anatomy, the prerequisite, the preamble of weight loss is found here. Now, you've got two components that we want to look at, and of course, these are easy to start with, and it's diet and exercise. And we say, well, as long as you're dieting and exercising right, you will lose weight. And yes, that is true. And yes, it is true that you can keep the weight off if you do things right. But we're discovering some things that we maybe knew before and it just wasn't publicized so much, or maybe it is that it was mispublicized. Well, I'm not really sure. I'll talk about the science of all this and the history of the science of all this in a different video. But right now, here's the thing that we want to understand that's pretty extraordinary. is exercise doesn't matter that much. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't say exercise doesn't matter that much without a context. I'm talking about toward weight loss and toward keeping weight off. Exercise is not as important as I thought. For years, I thought it was the most important component. I thought if as long as you were exercising right, then you could do whatever you wanted to. Well, we're finding out that exercise makes up about 90% or about 10% of your weight. The rest comes from diet. 90% comes from diet. And really, it doesn't come from just diet alone, what you eat, calories in, calories out, how many calories you eat, how many calories you expend, but there's a complexity here too. Number one is the type of calories that you eat. That's pretty easy. Number one, what you eat as far as calories. Number two is how much. And then number three is when you eat. Now, these are all very important. I'm sorry, that's kind of messy there. It's hard to see. You got number 1, 2, and 3. The what, how much, and when you eat. Those are the most important elements about our weight loss. Now, understand that the exercise is important for many things. Important for your heart, important for your muscles, important for just keeping overall health. So I'm not saying exercise is not important. It's just not that important for weight loss. It's not going to affect your weight. And you say, wait a minute, Michael, I thought if you gain 5 pounds of muscle, then you burn this many more calories each day. Well, that's not really as true as we thought as well. There was some misunderstanding about that, and it's really hard to gain 5 pounds of muscle, and it really doesn't change things that much. Your exercise or your diet does. And so the what you eat, when you eat, and how much you eat is just so important. And in order to keep our set weight, what we want to do is we want to have a set weight. Let's say our set weight is at 350 pounds. And then we lose weight and we get it down to 250 pounds. We get our weight down to 250 pounds. Well, that doesn't matter much if your set weight is still at 350 pounds, because what's going to eventually happen is your body is going to push and fight to get back to this 350. So eventually you will get there. How will you get there? Well, your body can do all kinds of things. Your brain can tell your stomach to distribute differently, distribute fat and burn off here, calories here. It can slow you down. It can make you more tired so that you're not burning so many calories. It can make you a lot more hungry for food or certain types of food so that you eat more calories. And this is why it happens whenever you lose a bunch of weight. If your set weight doesn't change, eventually, no matter what, you're going to go back up. And that's what we're finding is everybody gains the weight back. Why do they gain it back? Well, what we have to do is we have to change what we eat. We have to change how much we eat, and we have to change when we eat it. Now, what happens, let me start with this. Let's change how much we eat. Let's say we're at 350 pounds and we burn 2,500 calories a day. If we're burning 2,500 calories a day and we say, let's change how much we eat, let's go on a calorie restricted diet, and we push ourselves down to 1,500 calories. Or we even go so far as to go down to 800 like they were at The Biggest Loser. 800 calories. Well, the problem is whenever you do this, what is happening is your metabolism is slowing down. Your metabolism will slow down along with these calories, and eventually your metabolism will only burn 1,500. You may have lost weight at the beginning because you were eating 1,000 less calories than you were, but once your metabolism adjusts, then you're only burning 1,500 calories each day. And so now you're stuck there. Now once you go back to eating the 2,500, if you do, then you're going to gain all the weight back and then some. But what if you go all the way down to 800? Well, it's the same thing. Your metabolism will adjust and you'll go down to 800. And so what you're finding is in order to keep the weight off, like The Biggest Loser contestants, they were eating 800 calories a day. They were exercising this much. But whenever they were eating 800 calories a day, eventually their metabolism adjusted, and that's what they had to eat just to maintain. And so if they wanted to lose any more weight, they'd have to go to 600, 500. Then you have no energy whatsoever at all. And so, of course, this cannot work. So we cannot adjust our calories, the amount of what we eat, how much we eat. We have to keep that steady. So, the average person, like I should be burning about 2,000 to 2,500 calories each day at my weight or my ideal weight. So we want to keep how much we eat at 2,500 calories. Well, what about when we eat? Well, what we're finding is that when we eat may be the most important aspect of all of this. And what I mean by this is there used to be this deal whenever I was in fitness and nutrition, and I was a fitness trainer. What they taught us is have people eat as many times a day as possible, just smaller meals. So what you'd do is you'd eat as many times, you'd eat over and over and over again throughout the day. Just little meals, hopefully 6 meals a day, hopefully good for you meals. Well, what does this do? Well, this doesn't do us any good, because what you're doing is you are taking this hormone in your stomach called insulin, and you're spiking it every single time. And insulin has to be low in order for weight loss to happen, for fat loss to happen. You have to give your insulin a break. So if you're eating just a little amount that many times a day, it's not really doing you any good, other than the calorie restriction, which we saw earlier doesn't do any good. So what does this mean? Well, it means that the old sayings about don't snack between meals may be more true than we thought. So we cut out these and we cut out these, and let's say we have back to 3 meals a day with no snacks. Well, that's better, but you're still not really giving your insulin enough break in order to lose weight, in order to remain healthy. And so what we have to do is we have to cut out another meal maybe. And this is what you call intermittent fasting, where you have this little period right here. You have this little period between this meal and that meal, maybe 8 hours, in which you're eating. And during that period, you eat your full 2,500 calories, because you have to. You can't do a calorie-restricted diet. You'll gain it back. Your metabolism will slow down. So you get that many calories in this short period of time. You give your insulin a long break throughout the night and into the morning and into the afternoon, or however, whenever you do it. And then your body can start using its stored tissue, the adipose tissue. It can quit sending signals which become insulin resistant, and you become diabetic very quickly. And you begin to give your body this break and this time of healing. And during this time of healing, what we're finding is that that's whenever you do lose weight. Now, let's say we're back to this. We're back to the set weight. Well, we're doing everything right now to affect our weight. And we're helping with the set weight because we want the set weight to come down along with it. But the primary thing, we've dealt with what you eat, and we've dealt with when you eat, how much you eat, and we've dealt with when you eat. Now we got to look at what we eat. And what we eat is going to be a primary factor in determining our set weight. What we eat, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, okay, during this little 8-hour period, or sometimes a longer fasting period, the longer fasting period that you can go, as long as you have the fat storage to get through it. Your body has that fat there for a reason. You can go for quite a long time. I could probably go for a full year without eating anything. As a matter of fact, look it up. I kid you not. I swear. Kid you not. The longest fast ever is 383 days. Look it up. Not a joke. But you can go for as long as you have that fat storage, and as long as you're healthy enough, you're not pregnant, you're not a child, there's not any other factors, you're not type 1 diabetic, then you can fast for a long period of time. The longer you go fasting here, the better. Now, as we fast and lose weight, now we want our set weight to get better. We want our set weight to come down to where we are now at 250, or I'm trying to get mine down to 200. Well, how do I get mine down to 200? Well, I'm doing everything right at keeping my metabolism up. I'm doing everything right about losing the body fat with the how much to eat and when to eat, but what to eat will determine my set weight or help change my set weight. And this is where you get into the superfoods, the whole foods, not grains. And forgive me for saying this to a lot of people, but I don't think grains do well for you in changing your set weight, whether it be rice or whole wheat and all that, all those. I've kind of bought in quite a bit to this. This wheat belly phenomenon that's going on, that the wheat that we have is just not the wheat that it used to be. It's been engineered so many times that it's very bad for us, even whole wheat, and especially whole wheat. And so we're talking about vegetables that are very, very rich vegetables, the green vegetables, the spinach, the broccoli, the asparagus, those types of things that would give us high nutrients. We're talking about not fruits, forgive me here, guys, but fruits are not the best. Nothing that contains sugar, nothing that contains these carbohydrates that easily get converted to sugars and then to fat. And raise our insulin. We're trying to stay away from those things. So things that keep our insulin down even whenever we are eating. So during this 8-hour period, I want to eat the foods that are high in fat, that are rich vegetables. And whenever I say high in fat, I'm talking about good fats mostly. It doesn't have to be just good fats, but I'm talking about the avocados, the coconut oil, the free range butter, the grass-fed butter, the oils that come from grass-fed beef are very good for us as well. So as much as this as we can, the fats, and then you could throw in some other kinds of fats as well. I mean, fats, the good thing about fats is they don't raise your insulin very much, but you can get into the cheddar cheese and the sour cream, that kind of stuff to garnish your food with. But the main thing is the good fats. Stick with the good fats. And then the good vegetables that you are frying or soaking down with the good fats. This is where you get into the keto diet. And then whenever you're talking about your nuts and a few of your nuts, your almonds, your pecans, those are all really good for you in moderation during this time. But then that's what you fill your 2,500 calories up in this short period of time with all this good food, the good fats, and it will bring your set weight down to where your set weight now is at 200. You are keeping it there because you're eating just during this certain period of time. You're giving your insulin a break. You're giving your body a break from food. And every once in a while, whenever you do need to lose more weight, what you do is you extend your fast. Instead of an 8-hour fast, you're going to go maybe 24 hours every once in a while. Well, I lost my good pen. Let's go to this. 24 hours. Sometimes 48 hours. And sometimes you may even extend it, and talk to your doctor about this and read up on it some, but you may go 5 to 10 days. I'm going 40 days right now. I don't suggest anybody do the 40-day diet, but I've prepared myself for it by multiple other fasts. But I am trying to lose weight. I need to keep my metabolism up. Fasting will keep your metabolism up by the introduction of another hormone, and that is called your growth hormone. It doesn't, you say, wait a minute, doesn't longer fast take away from muscle tissue and make your metabolism slow down? And the answer is no, it doesn't. It doesn't, because what happens is whenever you stop eating completely, then your body switches over to an alternate fuel source. This is called the keto diet sometimes, but an alternate fuel source, which is the fat tissue that you have. And since you are eating nothing and you're not telling your metabolism you're slowing down, what you're doing is you're eating absolutely nothing and you're telling your metabolism to burn the same amount of calories, the 2,500 calories, and you're telling it to get it from your fat tissue. So your metabolism stays up, your muscles get protected by the growth hormone, and all kinds of other great things happen. I've talked about it in another video already, but this is really our attempt to get our set weight and quit being frustrated with our weight loss. This is what I'm doing. It's all I'm saying. Join me if you'd like, but I'm not encouraging this as saying I'm an expert in this area. This is the stuff I've learned. This is the stuff I'm practicing. This is the stuff I'm trying to get good at and trying to understand about my own body. And it's an exciting process for me, and it seems to be working. I've done a few tests where I just get back to my 2,500 calories, and I stay at it for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks one time, to see if I gained any weight, keeping at the same calories, and I didn't. It was exciting. I actually lost a pound. So keep up here. Again, you can join me on my Instagram by just going there and subscribing. I don't really know how to do all this stuff. I think you subscribe down there somewhere for the YouTube, and I don't even really know that much about Instagram. I'm just now starting it out, and that's why you see me kind of going wild on it. So thank you for joining us for the keto fast, and we'll see you next time.